Let's begin this morning with tributes that are pouring in for South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. The 71-year-old died Saturday from a tear of the aortic wall. That's according to a preliminary report by the medical examiner. Graham's office said he had just returned from a visit to Ukraine, where he met with President Zelensky when he suffered a, quote, brief and sudden illness. President Trump, meanwhile, ordered flags to be lowered to half-staff nationwide to honor the late senator. In a Truth Social post, the president called Graham one of the greatest people and senators I have ever known, and a true American patriot. The president also spoke this morning about Graham. Here's a portion of what he told Fox News.
He was a worker. He was a total workaholic politician. Now, some people don't call that work. Some people call that a lot of talking. But everybody loved him. He was good on the other side. If I had Democrat problems, he could solve them. He was a man of all different abilities, actually, and he was a nice man.
Let's bring in CBS News Congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns, who's on Capitol Hill and has covered the senator for many years. So, Caitlin, how are lawmakers reacting to all of this?
Hey, good morning, Vlad. I mean, it feels so strange to be back at work today and not to see the senator from South Carolina. Often when we would walk from our offices here at the Capitol over here to the rotunda, we would often pass Lindsey Graham by himself, walking, talking to a huddle of reporters or talking on his phone. He was always around, always at the center of really everything up here. So as lawmakers are coming back from their congressional recess, they're already feeling his absence here on a variety of levels. And it was notable, guys, because Lindsey Graham, he's known as a foreign policy hawk. He took lots of trips abroad, and he often traveled with his fellow lawmakers up here in a bipartisan way. And we're seeing a bipartisan outpouring of remembrances from him, not only from his Republican colleagues, but from Democrats as well, who made these foreign trips with him, and a lot of really moving tributes. I want to play a little bit of what two of his South Carolina colleagues had to say about their former colleague.
He really was a friend and a mentor, and he taught me the value of earning the respect and the trust of his colleagues on both sides of the aisle. And he extended that overseas. He developed relationships with world leaders that made him even more effective. And it didn't matter who was in the White House.
His wit and his humor brought the Senate colleagues together. Whether it was Cory Booker or Bernie Sanders, Lindsey Graham would look for something in common. And if they could find it, he'd work with them on it. And sometimes he'd be criticized for crossing the aisle. But Lindsey Graham was oblivious to that kind of criticism because he felt like if it was good for America, just do it.
Now, his presence and his absence here, I should say, is going to be widely felt, not only reflected in those tributes, but also, he was key. He was the chairman of the budget committee up here. He was going to play a central role in getting that new reconciliation package through the Senate. Also was trying to move defense authorization funding through the Senate as well. And remember, just on Friday, he was in Ukraine meeting with President Zelensky. He was in charge here of pushing forward a sanctions package on Russia. And there's some talk up here about trying to move that through even quicker in his memory.
And Caitlin, speaking of his absence, what's the process now for filling his seat? And what are you hearing about who might replace him?
Yeah, this is going to happen pretty quickly up here, guys. The South Carolina Republican Governor McMaster is supposed to appoint a temporary replacement for Lindsey Graham. Remember, he was up for re-election this year, so there is going to be a special election to fill the nomination, the Republican nomination, in August. So there's already a race underway for that. Some of the names being talked about: the lieutenant governor of South Carolina, who just ran for governor unsuccessfully, but had the support of Donald Trump, Pamela Evert. She will she will likely be a name in contention. Nancy Mace, Congresswoman who also lost that governor's race, is also talking about perhaps getting in. But here's the question, guys: whether the governor appoints someone as a place filler or appoints someone who they think should be in prime position to run for this nomination, that remains to be seen. But Also, his absence is going to be felt in terms of the numbers here, with also with McConnell out on medical leave. The majority here is very slim for Republicans, 51 to 47, guys. So trying to get the president's agenda through is still going to be pretty tight.
Okay, Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you.